Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Tomorrow is the NHL draft, which means that trades in the NHL have been ramping up. Today we got the biggest one yet. Taylor Hall was traded from the Boston Bruins to the Chicago Blackhawks. Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno were traded from the Boston Bruins to the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for Ian Mitchell and Alex Regula, both of whom are free agents this season. This was really just a cap-dumping move for Boston because Taylor Hall's contract is too much for them. They are currently cap-strapped and have multiple high-quality free agents, including Dmitry Orlov and Tyler Bertuzzi, as well as restricted free agent Jeremy Swayman, who they would like to re-sign. So they have to dump a bit of cap. Taylor Hall's career trajectory has honestly been a bit sad. He started off pretty good as the #1 overall pick on the Oilers. Then he went over to New Jersey, where he turned into a superstar. He ended up winning the Hart Trophy one year. Then he went down to Arizona, where he played pretty well. Then he went to Buffalo for half a season, where the whole team was awful. Taylor Hall wasn't bad per se, but that whole team was awful. So they ended up trading him to Boston, where in his first season there, he wasn't bad. Then in his first full season there, the season later, he wasn't awful, but he still looked like a shadow of his former self. This season, he just didn't have it. He wasn't awful, don't get me wrong. He can still be a solid playmaker, but for the amount of money that he was making, it's not justifiable. So, the Blackhawks just got 2 new playmakers, even if they are slightly on the expensive side, for their future superstar Connor Bedard, who they're about to draft tomorrow. Meanwhile, they trade away 2 restricted free agents that haven't done much in the NHL. On the Bruins' point of view, they just got rid of 2 high-priced veterans, and they got 2 younger players that probably are never going to do anything in the NHL. But if they do, hey, good for them. So all in all, I think this trade works out for both sides because the Blackhawks gain an advantage of better forwards to surround Connor Bedard with, plus they got a pretty darn good deal. Meanwhile, the Bruins got to ship out some of their more expensive players, and now hopefully they'll be able to re-sign at least 1, if not 2, or maybe all of their main free agents that they are looking to currently re-sign. That was not the only trade we've had in the past couple of days. We also had Ryan Johansson, the former Predators superstar who's gone downhill and missed the latter portion of this past season with injuries, has been traded to the Colorado Avalanche in exchange for Alex Galchenyuk. This trade surprises me a bit because Ryan Johansson just isn't himself anymore. It's very obvious that he has reached the threshold. It looks like he'll never be the same. Now, the Predators did retain 50% of his cap hit, but he's still not a cheap player, which means that it's a bit surprising that the Avalanche would go to acquire him. But, on the other hand, they need a center because captain and quite a good player, Gabriel Landeskog, is out for the entire next season with injury, which means that they have to find someone to fill that void, especially after losing Nazem Kadri just over a year ago as well, and the fact that JT Compher is likely to leave in free agency as well, which means that Ryan Johansson could become a solid center to fill that void. The side that surprises me more here is the side of the Predators. All they got was a 30-year-old AHL player that hasn't played in the NHL for a couple of years. What is that return? They even held back half of his cap hit, Ryan Johansson's. And yet, they got nothing in return. If you're going to go for someone, go for a young prospect, someone you could build around. But instead, they went for a 30-year-old AHL player that might never touch the NHL ice again. Even if he does, he's not going to make an impact, and he's definitely not going to be around when the Predators are done retooling or even maybe rebuilding. So, I hate this trade from the point of view of the Predators. I think they I get why they trade Ryan Johansson away, because he's an older veteran and they're not going to be winning with him. That makes plenty of sense to me. I like that ideology. But the return they got was just abysmal. They should have gotten at least one young prospect, someone they can hope to build around, instead of some guy that, like I said, might never touch NHL ice again. The last trade I'm going to talk about today is another surprising one. Sean Durzi, one of the Kings' better defensemen, as a 2018 second-round pick, was traded to the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for a second-round pick. This one is quite surprising because the Kings are a competitive team, and he is a young player who has a contract for a couple more years. So why the heck are they trading him away? It makes no sense to me, frankly, because their two best defensemen, probably, Vladislav Gavrikov and, more importantly, Drew Doughty, are both in their 30s. Sean Durzi was looking like he could build up to something, someone he could actually be a pretty darn good defenseman. But now they have shipped him out to Arizona in exchange for a second-round pick. Not a bad return. I think this trade was good on both sides from that point of view. I just don't know what the Kings were thinking when they made this trade, because, once again, he's a young defenseman. He's the kind of guy you want to keep on a competitive team for quite a bit longer. The one rumor I've heard a lot of is Brandt Clark. He was a 2021 first-round pick from the Kings. He is also a defenseman. And they are hoping he is going to make the leap to the NHL this fall. And people are excited to watch him. Apparently, he's going to be great, and whatever, he could end up being a superstar defenseman. Honestly, I don't know that much about the guy. From what I've heard, his prospect ratings are amazing. He seems like a good guy, but he's never played in the NHL, so we really don't know for sure. So I sort of get why they would want to ship out a young defenseman to give more of an opportunity for an even younger and hopefully future better defenseman. But for now, I would have kept Sean Durzi on the roster, given that Brandt Clark has never played an NHL game, and we have no idea how the heck he's going to perform. The other thing is that even though Sean Durzi's contract isn't very expensive, it looks like the Kings desperately need to shed salary for something, which is weird given that they don't have that much lacking in cap space. They seem in a pretty good position, but they trade away Cal Peterson's contract to the Flyers in exchange for Ivan Provorov, and then turned around and traded him away to the Blue Jackets to shed more salary. So it seems like they are trying to bring in something big. A lot of rumors are swirling around Pierre-Luc Dubois right now. I won't get into all of them, but he would be an ideal fit for the Kings, a young star forward. But there are other players on the market as well. Maybe they're looking to acquire a goalie, like another Jets player, Connor Hellebuyck, or John Gibson. That one's unlikely, that's interdivisional, but you know what I mean. Maybe they are looking to acquire a new superstar defenseman, because Drew Doughty's good, Vladislav Gavrikov's fine, but after that, they really don't have any other proven guys. So that is entirely possible as well. We'll see, but it looks like the Kings are looking to make a big move, and soon. But for now, the draft is coming up tomorrow. I suspect we'll get more trades. There are a lot of rumors surrounding the Flyers right now, but for now, thanks for watching.